let's move on to this Wrexham chat, right? I'm gonna read a little tweet that came out, and there's a few different tweets that came out during this period of just lighting a little bit of a fire and creating unnecessary or unfair comparisons between leagues and the importance or the willingness to support. And so this is from HDV Triggered, and it says, hot take, Wrexham's popularity in the US is cool, but it's also kind of annoying. People refuse to watch Major League Soccer because of quality, but will happily support a club in a fifth tier of English soccer. Sorry, but you're not going to argue that the National League is better than the Major League Soccer, the MLS. Also a sin to say the MLS. But what's your take on this, Charlie? Because I do think there's some merit around these types of conversations. I think we've always gotten ourselves in trouble because, we even now people ask me like, well, how does the MLS, when I was playing, compare to the Bundesliga versus second Bundesliga? How does it compare to Premier League versus Championship and all these other leagues? Like, is the Premier or is Major League Soccer better than the Belgian league? Is it better than Portugal? Is it better than Scandinavia? I mean, and then there's all these give and takes that you compare it, but this one's a little bit different because it's more of like a human interest type of thing, right? People are backing this because of the storylines. They're backing it because there's famous people behind it. Do you think there's ways in which the league can advance because of this? Or do you think this is one of these sort of zeitgeisty type things where even though it's not really zeitgeisty because it's got a ton of marketing behind it and it's got some big names behind it? I mean, what's your take on just that world? Because again, you look about Netflix's Drive to Survive with F1 that got everybody into it because of the storytelling, right? Like I still don't watch F1 on the weekends, but I watch that series when it comes out. I'll pay attention to that because it's easy viewing. It's got, good humor. It's got some drama. It's got all those things, but I'm still, which I guess makes me a fan of F1, but I'm still not getting more into it. And I know it's a little bit of a tangential, but like, just want to get your take on that tweet and sort of what you're thinking about.
Well, just in talking to people in passing, Ted Lasso and shows like Wrexham are bringing more interest to the sport of soccer. People didn't know anything about soccer, and just now people have an idea of how the sport works, who's in charge, the different characteristics of players and positions and signings. That's only good for the popularity of our sport in this country. The more people are aware of soccer and talking about soccer, because that was non-existent when I was growing up. No one talked about soccer. No one played soccer in my neighborhood. I was like an outcast. So I had to play all the other sports and be good at those sports so that people are like, oh, okay, you can play soccer. It's cool. As long as you can, score 6 touchdowns in a game. So for me, I love that there's more coverage and shows and movies about the sport, because that's only going to, I think, draw more people into Major League Soccer. So right. I'm all for it. So, hey, keep it going. I watch the shows. I mean, Ted Lasso, I'm hooked. I haven't watched Wrexham yet, but everyone says it's great.
Yeah. And look, there's all these proposed changes coming to Major League Soccer with playoffs and trying to create more. I mean, I am a believer in opening up these salary caps at a certain point in the near future to allow a Miami or a New York or an LA or a Chicago or a Kansas City spend as much as they want if they want to create a product. I think that'll drive more national attention to having, like, I watch Man City every week. I'm not a fan of Man City, but I watch them because, man, it's entertaining and it's nice. And they got enough storylines. And when they lose, the world's on fire. And when they win, it's pretty entertaining. And I'm an Arsenal fan. I'll watch Arsenal because I like Arsenal. But there's at least these connections that allow me to say, like, I'm going to watch it to see either it's going to be a train wreck or it's going to be something else. And I'm all for the growth of that within the league. I'm all for some of these new things that came out around the deals that teams got to, individual teams are going to have to create a lot more storytelling. So Pablo Maurer, the Maurist, if you don't follow him, is a writer for The Athletic and released these documents that came out recently around what the new contracts are for each of the teams and what that means. That's another opportunity to essentially, teams are going to have to create formats around their players, profiles around the players, around the club, around the fans, and create a lot more generated content. Now it's a huge stressor to put on the teams at this point, and they're going to have to like kind of step their game up. But I do think those are all little things that will help to drive more interest. I call it, you know, I don't call it, but many people call it the Olympics treatment, which is like, okay, if you don't like the quality of Major League Soccer, if you don't like the camera angles, or if you don't like whatever your reason is, you want to have more reasons to get in, right? And for the sport in general, like you said, Wrexham brings more people in. Ted Lasso brings more people in. Anything that's bringing more, FIFA brought more people into, or not FIFA, but EA Sports FIFA
Yes.
brought more people into the sport to like the game. All those are entry points into the sport, and then you can sort of guide people on their journey, and that's the responsibility of us as fans, as friends, of family, whatever, to continue to guide people to become bigger fans of the sport. But yeah, I'm just thinking about all these little things that are going to help to drive a better product ultimately in the long run. And it's not just on Major League Soccer. USL's got to do it, and everyone's got to do it. USL is trying to create their own Wrexhams, right, at the lowest divisions, that are community built, that aren't about the finances, that aren't about the big stars, but they're about, you know, Forward Madison having a cow as a mascot and funny, you know, their own unique beers, and they sell hundreds of thousands of dollars of merchandise because
Vermont Green.
Vermont Green. Being a sustainable or a carbon neutral club.
Yeah, Adam Pfeiffer, who is the manager there, the top.
No,
man.
You're not. Hey, listen, Charlie. Before you get to that, you're not allowed to say his name, and here's where I'll tell you why.
Okay.
You're not allowed to say his name to me, and Adam knows this, because back in 2002, 2003, I was playing in the semifinals of the PDL, whatever, and Cape Cod Crusaders.
Yeah,
we scored on them. It hit the back of the inside of the post and shot back out. We were all running to the corner doing the airplane, celebrating. They were running down the other end of the field. They knew it was a goal. They knew that it should have counted, and they didn't give it to us. They ended up beating us and going on to the final. I don't know if they won the final. They played against the Boulder Rapids.
Why is it that?
Adam,
isn't it the referee?
It's the referees. But they knew. They knew there was a goal.
I'd be doing the same
Adam
thing.
knows it was a goal.
You would be doing the same thing too.
I
don't want to hear that.
And Adam's got to live up to that. I'll let you speak of Adam. That's the last time I'm going to mention his name, because we're going to send this to him so he knows.
Just shout out. He watches. He loves In Soccer We Trust. So big shout out to Adam Pfeiffer, Boston College. Holla at your boy, BC Eagles. But he's leading the USL up there in Vermont. So he's
awesome.
Spreading the game, spreading the love. So shout out to Vermont Green.